What's up guys? Today I want to show you how to repair this Galaxy Note 9. It's got the back glass cracked on it, so we're going to be repairing that back glass. You'll see how fairly quickly we can get this repaired, and it's not so hard. As long as you got a few of the right tools, we can get this fixed. So first things first is we're going to have to heat up this glass in order for us to be able to pry some kind of tool in between the bumper here and the glass. We're gonna be careful, but you don't have to be so careful. It's okay if we damage this glass since it's already damaged. The main thing you wanna avoid is messing up the bezel. So let's go ahead and heat it up. If you have a hair dryer, that will work as well. I do have a heat gun. So we're just gonna go and heat it up. We want it to be hot to the touch, but not too hot. We don't want to damage anything underneath. And again, we're only running it along the sides. So what I'm going to use to separate is I have this thin metal spudger here and a thin plastic card. I'll leave a link in the description for items that are similar. You could use either or. If you have like playing cards, that will work as well. You can even start off with the playing card. I always like to start off with this thin metal spudger and then continue with the plastic card so I don't scratch up the bezel or anything. I start off from the side. I know some guys like to start off from the bottom. I like to start off from the side here. So what we want to do is just be able to stick that right underneath like that, and then just kind of push that in there. And now we can pull out the metal spudger and just work along the edges here. If you have to heat up more, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and try with the spudger. I think you'll be able to cut through this adhesive a lot easier. We do want to be careful once we start lifting the top area up with that ribbon cable. If it's possible to pry it open a little bit and go ahead and, oh, see mine just kind of unclipped. All right, so we are almost there. There you go. Now, one thing we do need to take off this back glass is that fingerprint sensor. So I'll go ahead and heat it up a little bit and pull it off. So you don't need a lot of heat, and once you heat it up, see it's not that hot. You should be able to just press it from the outside and it'll kind of just let loose. And there we have it. It's a good idea to probably clean off that glue. Unless your back glass doesn't have glue, then leave that adhesive on, but it's best to get a glass that does. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this glue off so that it bonds nicely to the new adhesive strip. So the next thing we wanna do is get all the glue off the back side of the phone. We wanna be able to get as much of this glue off as possible. Usually, a lot of times it just comes off just by kind of rolling it off with your finger. If it comes off difficult, you probably will have to use some kind of a cleaner. I like to use some rubbing alcohol. But for the most part, it should just come off pretty easy, as you can see. All right, so I got most of the heavy adhesive off. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dab some rubbing alcohol. I'm using 91%. Just get like a dab like that, and then just work on the edges. You don't want to soak it, and definitely be careful by the camera area, but we just want to be able to clean up all the edges really nice. There, and that's that. And now we can pop the new glass on. But before we do that, I like to put the home button on. Some people like to put the home button on the back glass and then put the back glass on with it. But since they have this little recessed area here, I find that once you start putting the glass on, it lines up just perfect. Here's the back glass. Again, I'll leave links in the description, whatever color you need. In this case, I need a blue color. I'd like to press against this adhesive strip here. That way, once I'm picking up the plastic, it doesn't pull the adhesive with it. This is the fingerprint sensor. And then there's one on the camera as well. That's for the edge. Gonna just lift it up a little bit. All right, now we're ready to go. I like to start from the top and move my way down. I got the top in, and as you can see, the fingerprint sensor lines up just no problem. If you need to move it just a little bit around, go ahead and do that. It's important to put a good amount of pressure on all the edges. You want to make sure that that adhesive really sticks and bonds to the phone, to the back of the phone. You want to do that on the edges, on the inside, because we do have adhesive strips going on the inside as well. And then you also want to do it by the fingerprint sensor, because there is a strip there. And you can also put a little bit of pressure near the camera, so all that kind of seals up. It's not a guarantee that it's a waterproof phone, but at least, you know, it'll be somewhat water resistant. Then I like to go and just clean up the phone. Again, just dab a little bit of rubbing alcohol, clean it up nicely. And there we have it. As you can see, the glass is sitting nice and flush. We don't have any areas popping up. Turned out really good. This took me about almost 30 minutes with the video time. Usually it takes me 15 minutes to do this kind of work. Me sitting here having to explain everything takes more time, but definitely take your time. There's no rush, do a right job. Well, if this was helpful and if you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment. I'll try to answer them the best I can. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed.